Season 3 of Generation Q is underway, and we officially have a week of filming in the books as of today. So we're going to be taking a look at what's going on in the set, some big casting news, and also looking at some of the pictures that some of the cast and the official Showtime account shared, and of course some from the crew too. So I'm going to be doing in the first half of this video the exposed looking back at season 2, and today's episode is episode 2, and we're going to look at some things that we could use in season 3 or lose for season 3 because they didn't make much sense. And then at the end, I'm going to be talking about the casting news and season 3. I will timestamp down below. And as I said in the previous video, I am going to be doing the season 2 re-reviews now that obviously we've seen the whole season for Pride. And after I'm done with season 2, I am considering doing a couple of the OG episodes, at least like the premieres and finales. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know down below. And if you want to stay up to date on all the filming news and see all of the pictures, go and follow me over on Instagram because I post a lot when filming is happening. So let's get right into it. If you just want to check out the season 3 news, timestamp is in the description box. And if not, let's get straight into season 2, episode 2, Lean on Me.
I never want to see you again. Is that clear?
Ooh.
You're fucking disgusting.
Ari and Rosanna are both really good in this scene. Oh my god. That's the other thing. I really think it was such a huge, I mean, obviously it was a huge betrayal for Dani for everything, but it's also the fact that like Micah knew and like Finley was her friend too. It's awful. And then knowing what happens the rest of the season, the way like Dani kind of like leaves their group, like I feel so bad for her, but also then I think, well, she went through all of this and she got Gigi, so it would be worth it. I would not want to be, oh my god, Ari Mandy, the boxing and stuff she does now, she's even more killer. So yeah, they're lucky this didn't happen in season 3. She'll probably knock her into next week. I know this is kind of obvious to say, but it is just so weird going back to the beginning of the season. And really, I mean, if you've seen any of my timeline videos or timeline discussions, this season takes place only over like 7-8 weeks. And everyone is in these really serious different relationships at the beginning of the season. And then by the end of the season, they're in these super serious relationships that have only happened over like 2 weeks. So I guess it's just weird seeing like Dani and Sophie getting married, Alice and Nat living together.
Open communication is just so important. Well,
Yeah.
there's nothing to communicate if you don't cheat. Right. What do you want to tell me?
Oh. There's also so much that just happens in an episode. And I think the idea with season 2 is that most of the episodes are supposed to happen over the course of a day, bar like 1 or 2. And then it's like a week in between the episodes. But there's some other things in this episode that people say that I'm like, yeah, the timeline's already gone to shot, because Dani and Sophie were supposed to get married on a Friday, but then we see everyone the next day like going to work and like dropping kids to school and stuff. So this is why I say it's a Friday again. There's 2 Friday the 9th of April. Oh, poor Dani.
Can I help you?
Bed porter for Dani.
Bet's here to make it better.
Welcome.
And the good old days are still going on at the Nunez house with their, mansion and guy opening the door. But like next episode, he's being arrested.
You know, when Tina left, I used to hate it when people would say, "How are you doing?" So I won't. I'm fine. You will be. No, I'm fine now. It happened. I should have seen it coming.
Bet's like, that's exactly what I would do. Tell everyone I'm fine when I'm not. First day. Interviewed for the job on the Thursday. Then went on the date with Gigi on the Thursday night. Then went to a wedding on the Friday. Then went through a time vortex. And it's Friday again. And I'm going to my first my first day at my new job that it's been one day since I've been hired. And not is it like a first day where she's like moving into the office and stuff. Like she actually has like appointments and interviews scheduled with like really big artists.
I am here for you. Always.
Oh.
Thank you. But I'm fine.
And this got ruined too. Dani and Bette's relationship, and now it's fuck Bet Porter. But I did say yesterday, one of the pictures that I posted, Jennifer Beals is wearing a very similar suit to the ending of season 3. And it's like, is that a time variant or like a multiverse version of Bette?
Long ago, there was a vast multiversal war. Countless unique timelines battled each other for supremacy, nearly resulting in the total destruction of, well, everything.
It could be possible with this timeline, but I'll talk more about the pictures and stuff in season 3 at the end.
What did he say exactly? He told an emerging black artist that his hero, Kerry James Marshall, wasn't.
It's time for the peak of season 2 moment.
And I can still see the thinly veiled racism.
It's stuff like this too. Like this episode is one of my favorites, and I'll talk about at the end with the poker scene too. But there are things that I look at in this show sometimes and I'm like, right there, like you are right there with having that perfect balance of a good show and also tapping into being a good like spin-off or sequel or whatever you want to call it, continuation of the L Word universe. And it is things like that line that Bette said to Dani about, you know, when Tina left, and things like have Bette standing there with, you know, one of her Kiki Smiths, which we know she had in the OG, and it was a really important thing for her. And when she had to sell them for when things were not going great, like financially in season 3, those tapping into those things, like nobody's sitting here spending 10 minutes talking about the Kiki Smith and wasting time, and viewers who haven't seen the original are like, what the hell are they talking about? But people who've watched the show for nearly 20 years can be like, oh, like that's like a nice nod, you know. There are other moments too. Like I saw someone wrote on Reddit, and I think I've mentioned this in a live before, but somebody had put a post up that had obviously discovered Gen Q in like quarantine or something, and they said, oh, we've been waiting for season 2 to come out and I loved it. And then I was really confused why they kept making this big deal out of Tina and why they kept referencing these things that like I hadn't seen happen. And then the post is like, did you guys know there's an entire other show called The L Word? And Tina and Bette are like the main couple, and it was just so funny. But I do think about things like that where, you know, you don't want to get too carried away with like constantly referencing the original. Like you want this show to stand on its own, but you do also need to appreciate the fact that you have 3 main characters, basically 4, like the, you know, when Tina's in an episode she is a main character. And I also think a lot of the audience of Gen Q may not necessarily be people who watched the original when it was on, but they've watched the original since, and so they'll appreciate all of that too. Episode 4 is, I think, the best episode of season 2 for that kind of like L Word referencing stuff. But I do just really get a kick out of any time there is little things like this, and I'm sure a lot of people do too.
What do you want?
You. Probably gonna have to mute the music, but here's some treats just for you. Need to hydrate after that scene, but they absolutely killed it. Like this is one of the best scenes from Gen Q, point blank period. And also I think it has something ridiculous ridiculous now, like millions upon millions of views, which silly me, I should have put a clip up just of that. But yeah, it really was a peak moment of season 2 for sure.
I knew the wedding was that day, but I thought it was later, like at night. Like, I didn't think I was walking into the actual real wedding in a hat. Oh, I didn't a fucking hat. I know, we were there.
We need more lines like that, like Shane's, I know, we were there. But also, Finley saying the other day, it was yesterday. The wedding was yesterday.
I need this. Bar, poker, and it's not just for fun. Kiara, she got half of everything in the divorce, and she deserves it.
This kind of bothered me because in season 1, like Shane's coming in on private jets and stuff like that, and to charter a private jet from Europe to America is like $80,000 to $100,000. Like, it's a lot of money. So if Shane was like throwing that away just for like a random flight, she would be, you know, pretty up there. Like, it's not like she has, you know, a couple of million. You're not spending $100,000 for a flight if you've only got like 5 million. I know that sounds like only, but in that world it's like that. And also the amount of money that she would get from these poker games where she's taking from the pot, you're only taking a tiny percentage. And the reason that companies like, I used to work for PokerStars, yes, you would only take a small amount from the pot, like $1.50 say, but there's millions of games going on every minute of the day. That's why they have so much money. But Shane and Tess, like, what? They can play maybe 5 tables, a couple of games, say 10 at the most. They're making a couple of thousand, 10, 20 grand. Like, that's, in Shane's world, nothing. So it just seems so inconsistent, you know, from season 1, like mega rich, and then getting divorced, broker, because if she had 50 million and Kiara took 25, she still got 25 million. And it just, she'd have to have at least that to be like getting on private jets, if you get what I mean. I know that's like a nitpicky, like tangent thing, but I just wish there was a bit more consistency that way. And the poker stuff also ended up being, or like going nowhere. So I just wish that they'd either gone somewhere with that storyline, or not brought it in the first place, because it just kind of was around in the first half of the season and then went nowhere. I would like to know what happened, because I thought it was a really good storyline and interesting, but it just kind of fell off the end of the season. Yay!
Oh, this is amazing.
I love this bit. So cute. Oh, they're pulling the chair. I really, really like this episode. Like, I'm a sucker for Bette and Gigi, but I just also really like the Bette and Gigi scene. Okay, like it really tipped it for me, but just really enjoyed like the poker thing and stuff like that. And is why I was really disappointed when it went nowhere. But I really I like this ending with everybody playing poker and stuff. It was fun.
Well, I invited Dani, but she's still too shattered to go in public, so.
That's your future woman, Gigi.
Where's Nat?
Kills me. Bette is not impressed about Sophie and Finley being there.
For real, Alice?
Yes, you should. Al, you know that the messy parts of people's lives, they're always the most relatable. That's what I...
This scene also is where you see what sort of caliber of actors that you're working with, because especially like Leisha, Kate, and Jennifer, who know their characters so well because they've been playing them for so long, but also Seppi in this scene, you see how she's really good. And I've mentioned this, I think, in my original review of this episode, was that Gigi and the way that she's playing and the way Bette's playing, like, they look like actual poker players. The way that like they slide the cards and like they play with the chips and stuff. I did a video actually on like the poker part of Gen Q. I'll link it in the cards above, and just like what they're doing and the way they're moving and stuff. They look like they play a lot, and I think that just fits well with their characters too. Whereas you have someone like Leisha, who Alice is a novice and she doesn't know what she's doing. And the way that she just like flings the chips in and stuff like that, it's so fitting for her character. So I think that they all did a really good job in the scene. And like having that little bit of tutorial, I think too, like really had them adapt their own playing style. So I think they did a really good job, and just like the set decorator and everything like that, and I'm sure the writers had a hand in it too, and the way they set this scene up. As someone who worked for the biggest poker company in the world and was around professional players a lot, like they did a great job with the scene.
Everybody makes mistakes, right? Including you.
Including you, bitch.
I cheated on Tina 17 years ago, and I will regret it for the rest of my life.
And that's where we'll wrap for season 2, episode 2, Lean on Me. I really like this episode. It's one of my favorites from season 2. I love the bette and Gigi stuff, and I really like the poker things. It just keeps the episode interesting, and that scene at the end with all of them, like it's very rare that we do have scenes with them all together like a group. So I hope we're getting more of that in season 3. Speaking of season 3, I am going to put some of the pictures that they've been sharing up on the screen so anyone who doesn't have social media can see. And the things mainly to talk about are the casting stuff that's come out this week. So as I mentioned in my previous video, Rosie is going to be back. I'm not too sure how many episodes yet, but it doesn't seem like it's an enormous amount because Rosie does have another show going on, and just the way she kind of was wording things, she said in some capacity, and it just didn't sound like it was going to be, a ton of episodes. Laurel Holloman is already on set. She posted some pictures yesterday with her trailer and things like that. So it's great to see all this content coming out from them. And I'm not too sure about Donald Faison either. He did post something on Instagram about day 2, but then he was at a Scrubs event the day after that. So I would be really surprised if he wasn't coming back. But I am also surprised because I've heard that Vanessa Williams is not returning for season 3. I've heard this from a couple of people on the set. And I'm actually not the first one to talk about this because I actually saw someone else's live and then I reached out to like one of my sources. And the first person I saw talking about this was on Instagram Live, and their name is Vanessa Estelle Williams fan page. So go check them out. But normally I don't really take too much stock in, other people saying things, but I have absolute respect for someone getting on camera with their real name and their real face and saying something. So that's why when I saw that they'd gone live on Instagram and talked about this, I reached out to someone as well, and apparently they're not going to be back. So I think that's really surprising, to be honest, because no matter what sort of way that the storyline was going to go with the cliffhanger, I feel like it would have involved Pippa in some capacity. So I think that's surprising. The only thing I could think of is maybe there's a really big time jump. But the other thing I will say is that usually when I put something out like, oh, the show's going to be out in summer or the show's coming back on August 8th, I have multiple people confirming it, or I have someone like quite high up saying it. This is just general hubbub on the set. And of course, they're only filming episode 1. It's the very beginning. They still haven't completely finished all the writing for the season 2. So there could be a massive reveal. There could be a big surprise. But this is generally just what I've heard. And, I know you guys like to be kept in the loop on everything. I am going live tomorrow. It's a different time. It's a little bit more convenient for the US this time, and it'll be 9 p.m. UK, 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific time, and 10 p.m. Central Europe. If you click on the link, you can see all the other times. I just do my top 5 countries that most of my viewers are in. By top 5, that's what I mean. But if you want to see your time, just click on the link for the live that I'll post in the comments and you can see the time for your country. We'll of course be discussing casting and absolutely everything else about season 3. So make sure that you join us tomorrow, Saturday, for the live, and make sure you're following me on Instagram too to stay up to date on absolutely everything. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about everything, about this episode, about season 3, about pictures, casting, all of it. And I hope to be back very soon with another video. Also, if you're looking for something good to watch this weekend, go and check out my second channel, Coffee and Colds, where I do long form videos about interesting topics. And as always, make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.